Health and fitness requires more than just the physical work. It starts with the work you put in to grow your mind. Welcome to the Mind Gains podcast, where we discuss what it takes mentally to see results physically. I'm your host, Jess. Let's get started. All right, we are jumping straight into today's message because I have a lot of thoughts and not a lot of time. So get ready, buckle in, because here we go. Today's episode is all about putting an end to being a victim to your mind and learning to master it. This is something we all have to do, and we're all capable of doing. Whether you think you are or not, we all have it in us. We just have to be aware enough of it and care enough about it to put a stop to it. It's not easy to do, but if you are tired of constantly giving in to the easy option, the comfortable decision, if you're tired of staying stuck because you just can't seem to ever practice discipline and not always be giving in to what you want right in the moment, you need to learn to take hold of your mind and stop letting it talk you out of doing hard things. Because the plain and simple truth is that if you don't, you will not be successful in anything you try to do. Success does not come from continually giving in and never making any sacrifices for your goals. It comes from putting your goal and the actions required to reach it above what you want right now and prioritizing that above what your brain is telling you sounds good right this very second. It comes from learning to shut that voice off in your head when it's telling you that you're fine, you've done enough. You don't have to push for that extra rep in the gym. You don't have to pick the healthier food choice. So, whether that's your mind telling you to shut your alarm off in the morning and forget about the gym today because staying in bed sounds a lot more fun than working out, or it's telling you to order the bacon cheeseburger and fries because that sounds much more appetizing than some grilled chicken and rice, you have to say, hold up, let me think about this for a second. I know I feel a little lazy and I feel like sleeping in today, but my goals matter enough to me. I'm going to get up and I'm going to head to the gym. Or that cheeseburger sure does look good, but the grilled chicken is going to support my goals much better. So better go ahead and choose that instead. You have to have that conversation with yourself and really think about where your priorities lie. And I think a big thing that this comes down to is recognizing the fact that your mind is going to try to convince you that skipping the gym, that ordering the bacon cheeseburger, that having a lazy day and staying on the couch instead of getting your steps in is the better option. It's not. It is never the better option, no matter what reasons your mind is throwing at you to accept it as such. You have to understand the way that the human brain works. It is hardwired, literally ingrained in every single one of us to always seek comfort, to always be looking to reach homeostasis. Your mind does not want you to be uncomfortable in any way, shape, or form, even if it's good for you. Because guess what? Exercise is terrific for you. Getting your heart rate up and pushing hard in the gym and getting those last couple reps out where you're really struggling with getting the weight up because you're tired and your muscles are on fire is good for you. But the entire time you're working through that set, your mind is going to tell you otherwise. It's going to throw everything it's got at you to convince you that you've done enough, you don't have to push any harder, you can stop now. You cannot listen in those moments because truthfully, when it starts saying all of that, you've probably got a good few reps still in the tank at least. And you can probably increase that weight, even though your mind is saying, too heavy. I cannot lift that much yet. In reality, you most likely are already strong enough to handle it. And this doesn't mean that you should never listen to what your mind is telling you and what your instincts say, because we're hardwired that way for a reason. And it is to protect us and to keep us alive. But you have to recognize when you're having an instinct of danger and when you need to be cautious and when you're just wanting to quit early because you don't want to be uncomfortable. There's a huge difference between the message your mind is giving you when you are in an actual dangerous situation. When you're debating whether you should step off the edge of a 10-story building or not, your mind should be throwing out red flags at that point, telling you, hey, not smart. You're not going to want to do that. Like, yes, that would be the time to listen to what your brain is saying. But there's a difference between that situation and your mind telling you to end your workout early because you're feeling a little tired. And I think we can all recognize that. And you have to keep in mind the fact that no matter what the situation is, that little voice in the back of your head is going to try to get you to not do the hard thing. But it's up to you to take control of that and do the hard thing anyways. You are in control. And you need to get your mindset in alignment with what your goals are. Because if you leave this unchecked and you let that little voice call all the shots, good luck. You have to practice this. You have to practice not letting your mind rule over you and always allowing it to persuade you into taking the easy way out. Because no one gets to just have it easy. And that's something that I think a lot of people don't understand. We aren't just born either having discipline and self control or not. It's not, like there's two different types of people, and you either have it or you don't. It does not work that way. It's not like some people just get lucky and their minds don't try to talk them out of doing hard things. We are all hardwired the same way when it comes to this. And the people that are successful have not had it any easier than you have. They have not just had everything handed to them and they don't have to work hard and make sacrifices and tough choices because it's just easy for them. That is such a cop out. It's an excuse for those who are unwilling to work hard enough to make a change. Don't be that person that uses every opportunity to place blame elsewhere and become a victim. Because it's easier to do that than to actually own the fact that you are 100% in control of your actions and your decisions. Be the person that uses every opportunity to get better, not looking for perfection, but looking to consistently show up every single day and work to become a better version of yourself and work towards your goals. And I know that everyone listening right now is that second person. Because if you are listening to a podcast about health and fitness and you're trying to better yourself and gain knowledge and understanding to level up in this area, you're that second person. We are all given the same opportunity when it comes to this. Yes, we all have different life circumstances and outside factors, but when it comes to how we take control of our mindset and how much we listen and give into that little voice, we all struggle with this. And we have the same opportunity to take control of it. So if you're looking at others that seem like they are light years ahead of you and you just don't know how they were able to take control of their mind and not allow it to dictate whether they show up every day and hit their targets and reach their goals, it's not that they've had it any easier. It's just that they have taken it upon themselves to work hard day in and day out to make changes. And giving up was not an option for them. They made the decision that regardless of what happens, regardless of how hard it gets, what setbacks I encounter, and how little I actually want to do any of this, I will do it anyways. Giving up is not an option. Stopping is not an option. Because at one point or another, I promise you, they were in the same or a similar position that you were in. They had a day one just like you. They had setbacks and challenges and failures. They have been in the same spot as you, and they said, this ain't gonna fly. I'm making some changes. They made that decision and they kept showing up consistently despite whatever life circumstances threw at them. They kept showing up the best way they could every day, and they just kept going. If they can do it, so can you. Because the truth is that no matter what your situation is, there is always someone out there who has had it harder and they still found a way to make it work. They still found a way to be successful. There is no difference between you and them, except that they've probably been showing up longer. And they did not stop showing up just because things got difficult. So if you're constantly giving in to what you want in the moment and you think it's just impossible to get that in check, and you're wondering how in the world anyone does this, how do they keep up with this and make daily sacrifices? Just keep that in mind. And if you have chosen to embark on this journey, you have chosen to get out of your comfort zone. No one made you do it. You decided you wanted more for yourself. You decided you wanted to lose weight, build muscle, pursue personal growth, and that is awesome. But you have to know that if you're trying to make a significant change and you're trying to do something great with your life, whether that's changing your lifestyle to be healthier or make a career move or make an impact on this world, it's not going to be comfortable. And making those changes is not for everyone. It's really not. But if you have made the decision to pursue your health, wellness, fitness, personal growth, whatever it is, you have to go into it knowing that this is about to be really hard, but really worth it. Because if it were easy, everyone would do it. So don't look at those that have been able to attain it for themselves with envy, because you are just as capable as they are to control that voice when it starts speaking up. They weren't just born being able to shut it down. They earned that by repeatedly challenging their minds when it started telling them that they shouldn't get up early to go to the gym or cook from home or meal prep so that they could be successful all week with their nutrition. Or even, let's go on a larger scale, when their minds told them that they shouldn't get out of their comfort zone and switch careers. They shouldn't try to make a difference. No one is going to listen to them anyways. They're not capable of winning. Who are they to even try to achieve anything great? We have all experienced these thoughts. And maybe the areas that my mind tries to get me to give up and quit are different from the areas that yours does. But it doesn't matter because we all have something that we experience this with. We all have at least one area of life where the voice in our mind knows exactly what to tell us to stay comfortable and stay stuck right where we are. Because trying that would be too risky. You're much better off just staying here. You know it's safe here and you know what to expect. But the problem with listening to that voice in those moments is that you will never grow, you will never succeed, and you will never know what you're missing out on because you didn't shut that voice down long enough to see the payoff from doing so. And that's great that there is no risk when you stay comfortable, but there's also no reward for it either. And the truth is that you could have been just one decision away from changing everything. Your breakthrough could have been right there, but you let that voice take over, and now you got to start all over, back to square one. Our minds are an extremely, extremely powerful thing. And it's crucial that you know that it's always going to be trying to get you to take the easy way out. Here's an example. Let's say you've decided that you need to stop eating out so much. You're usually ordering takeout, Uber Eats a few nights a week, but you know that cooking food at home helps you reach your nutrition targets a lot better. So your new plan is that you are going to only eat out one night a week. That is the boundary you're setting with yourself. One meal out per week. You eat home Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then maybe you end up eating out Thursday night because it was a really hectic day and you just didn't feel like you had the capacity to cook that night. Now, Friday rolls around and you've already had your one dinner out for the week, so you know you're going to be cooking dinner tonight. But as the evening approaches, your mind starts telling you, you know what? It's Friday night. You did really great the first half of the week with eating from home. You had a crazy week at work. You got all of your workouts in. What does it matter if you order food again tonight? And it starts negotiating with you. It begins trying to convince you that it's okay to not stick to your plan because of X, Y, and Z. That it doesn't really matter if you skip blank or if you don't do blank. And it's going to start telling you exactly what you need to hear in that moment to give up and not do the thing that is going to make all the difference in the world. The moment this starts happening, you need to shut it down. The thoughts are going to enter your brain at some point or another, but you need to be prepared for that, knowing that your goals and your success matter a lot more to you than making the easy choice. You cannot entertain those thoughts because as soon as you start listening, even just a little, you're going to be like, yeah, you know what? I have worked hard this week. I do deserve to have a relaxing night and not worry about cooking. And then all of a sudden, within a matter of seconds, you have allowed your mind to talk you out of getting done what you know needs to get done. And you're crazy if you think that those moments don't matter to your overall progress, especially if you're giving in to thoughts like that on a daily basis. You have to start working to recognize when that little voice is starting to speak up to talk you out of making the harder choices and shut it down immediately. You have to challenge it because every time you let it take over and you let it win, you have lost. When you decide to run through the McDonald's drive-through because you've allowed your mind to talk you into it and you listened when it was telling you that it's not a big deal if you eat McDonald's for the second time this week because you were so good about getting all of your workouts in, you lose. But when you put an end to that cycle, and the next day when you're on your way home from work and your mind tries to persuade you to grab something quick again tonight, and you challenge that and decide to cook yourself a good dinner from home with foods that help progress you towards your goals and you win for that day, there is nothing better than that feeling. Being able to come out of a situation knowing that you made the difficult choice and stuck to your plan and you actually did what you said you were going to do, that feeling is addicting. And if you've never experienced that for yourself, I challenge you to try it just once this week. Make the hard decision in support of your goals. Because the way you're going to feel afterwards is going to far exceed how you would feel if you gave in again and stopped for McDonald's again for the third time this week. And this comes from practice. You're not going to make one hard decision and then never have to worry about it ever again. It will get easier with time, but you're also going to have lots of moments where you probably do give in to whatever your mind is telling you. You just have to pick yourself right back up and keep practicing every day and work towards giving in less and less over time and shutting that voice down quicker and quicker when it starts talking. Eventually, it won't speak up as loud anymore. It still will. It definitely will still try, but after a while, it knows you're not giving it as much power as you used to, so it won't try as hard. This shows up in different areas for all of us. And when you first start out, it's probably going to show up in every single area. I know it did for me. And I got really good at shutting that voice off when it came to workouts and getting in the gym and pushing for that extra rep. But where I noticed it was a lot harder, and honestly, it still is to this day, is the food. It's gotten easier since starting, but it's still the area that my brain really takes hold of and tries to talk me out of sticking to my plan. And the downside is that voice always knows what to tell us because it's us controlling it. It's our own voice. We know exactly what bullcrap excuses we need to hear to convince ourselves to not do what we know we need to. The upside is we control the voice and we can quiet it. And the only time that voice taking over works is if we're okay with it working and if our goals don't really matter that much to us. Because I'm sorry, but if you're constantly giving in and never making any sacrifices for your goals, you need to take a hard look at how bad you really want it. You have to really be after them. Because if you're not, every little excuse your mind tells you is a good reason to fall off track is going to be a good enough reason for you to listen to it. You have to know for a fact that whatever your goal is, 1000% matters more to you than any sort of short term satisfaction. Because when you're exhausted at the end of your day and you look down at your watch and you see that you're 1,000 steps shy from reaching your step goal, that voice is going to probably start saying, what's 1,000 steps? Does it actually matter if you get 9,000 or if you get 10,000 steps? Yes. Yes, it does matter. A lot. Get your butt up and get those last 1,000 steps in before you lay down in bed. It will make a difference. The small things do matter. And you being a little short on your steps, your water, your protein for the day matters. This has to be the way that you view it, because in the moment, your mind will try to tell you it doesn't matter. But the small things are what build up and compound over time to make the biggest difference. You almost have to do the complete opposite of whatever it's trying to get you to do. If it's telling you to stop at rep 10 on your Bulgarian split squats, you need to say, we're getting 11 out. If it's telling you to stay sitting on the couch, you need to say, nope, I'm getting up and I'm going to get these steps in right now. But this comes down to you. You have to make that decision to do the thing that you don't feel like doing, regardless of whatever your mind is saying. Your progress and your results and your goals have to matter more to you than your feelings, because feelings are fleeting and you cannot rely on them. You are not going to feel motivated to do all the things that you know you need to every day. It's not going to happen that way. Whatever you're after, whatever your goal is, has to matter more to you than how you feel right now. The more power you give to the voice in your head, the less you will take action on the things that you need to, and the further away you are from reaching your goals. Do not allow it to stop you from winning. You are in control, and you are more than capable of taking action despite it. You just need to be aware of it and start challenging it when it speaks up.